going to the Red Sox, and it looks like he's going to play second base. I'm just curious if you could share your thoughts on that.
You mean, yeah, you said about 5 things in there.
1, Trevor's going to the Red
Sox.
Sox.
2, he's playing second.
Right.
One of my favorite players. And
what is your reaction or response to that?
Again, I think that, Trevor, is entering a phase of his career when he looks back, right? He'll realize that he's played for 2 remarkable organizations, right? The Red Sox with their past, historic franchise, and he was fortunate to play with an organization that was not just 25 plus years old, right? Sort of a old and anew, right? Where he was a part of a franchise here that was growing, and there's a franchise that has been there for a long time, and he'll enjoy that because I do think he's in a lot of ways a baseball fan. So as far as the second base, I think that he's a baseball player first. He's athletic. He'll be able to handle it. Probably this winter at some point when it looked as though he wasn't going to come back here, and probably had behind the scenes there was talk of him going to say he's probably practicing it already. So, but he'll handle that position with no problem. So,
knowing him as you do, Boston is a very intense baseball town.
Sure,
one of the most intense.
Right.
Knowing Trevor as you do, how do you think?
I think he'll be fine. Again, I think he has a perspective that he knows what his job is, and that's to play baseball. And if you play the game hard, you play it with energy like he does. I don't think any market will appreciate that.
Cool. Thank you.
And we wish him well, as you know, right? And I'll be following like I do. I follow baseball, but I follow players, coaches, managers that I've had a direct relationship with. So we'll be following.
Hey, we saw Elias Diaz kind of come out offensively last season. You've seen him develop over the course of a couple of seasons. What's next for him as far as just solidify things?
I think consistency, probably, right? I think last year was a roller coaster. Probably a 2-swing roller coaster, right? I mean, roller coasters, there's a lot of dips and dives and turns. His was sort of like down and then up, and then the season was over. So I think with him it's just the consistency. I think, I think the talent's there. That's something that the coaches and I saw all along, that, just his ability, his talent. In 2020 when we got him, we got off to such a great start with Tony and Drew. We sort of rode that out because we were pitching so well, and Elias was new, didn't know our pitching staff. Was just getting comfortable with all the things we do, on the pitcher-catcher side. And then last year with, a full spring training, getting to know our guys, I think and working with Red, which I think he cleaned a lot of things up, from his days in Pittsburgh. And I think defensively, Red and Aaron Munoz got him on the right track. So he's comfortable behind the plate, comfortable with our pitchers. But the bat struggles early in the year were real, right? And it was a guy trying to dig himself out of a deep hole. But the defense never wavered, which was awesome. And then the talent showed up with the bat. So, I mean, like I said before, when he started hitting, when Brendan came back from his hamstring injury, when we brought Connor Joe, those 3 guys, with also the group that we had, Crone, Trevor, Mack, Ham. I mean, that's when our offense really started clicking. Offense was, a little shy the first couple months, and then our offense picked up, and as did our won-loss record, right? I don't know all the numbers from different dates, but, it's pretty good we talked about it. I mean, the last 4 months was pretty good.
Hey, when does he get into games and sing?
I believe Tuesday. I'm not quite sure, but I think we're looking at Tuesday for him.
And you think it'll take Tapia long to get out there, or do you have a plan?
No plan with Tap. I think he's got to go through some major league protocols as far as the physical, the timing, he has to sign off medically and club-wise, and there's got to be some signing off on some things. But we'll get him back in there as quick as possible.
Was there an injury or anything, or is it just normal?
He's fine. It's normal stuff that happens a lot of times when you come from Latin America. And to be honest, I don't know what I've been in this game for 40-something years, and I still don't understand it. Right, Bob? Right? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, we've written about it. I still don't know what happens.
Daza maybe today or tomorrow.
Yeah, I think Daza flies in today. And again, same thing. I don't know what happened. I don't work in the consulate, or I don't work at the or how all these things work.
What's next for Raimel? If you would take what he did last year, which was impressive, but I'm sure he thinks there's more there.
No doubt.
What's next for Raimel?
I think with Mac, what he did the first 6 weeks, 7 weeks, is try to consistently do that the whole year. Right? There's still some peaks and valleys in there. Right? There's still some streakiness in there. I think any player who passes the test of time, we're talking on offense, any player who passes the test of time offensively, it's the valleys are not very deep and the highs are sort of high. So I think that's where we got to get to with Mac, because sometimes the valleys are a little low, comes up the highs are highs, and then the deeper valleys. But I think it's to have the lows not so low and the highs be a little higher, and he's very capable of that. And there's a lot of stuff within that, right? I mean, if you dig a little deep, that's a broad perspective, right? Putting the ball in play a little bit more at times, cutting down the strikeouts, increasing the walks. By doing that, his natural ability with his swing to hit will produce more, and I think he thinks he can produce more. I think our expectation and his expectation is that can happen. So I think that answers your question. Defensively, he's fine. Actually, I mean, the metrics tell you he was arguably the best defensive third baseman in the game by the metrics. And to the eye test, what we saw, he was great. He was really good, right? Really good.
I agree.
And now he's starting to be in conversations amongst managers, coaches. That takes a while. It takes 2 or 3 years of everyday play and solidifying yourself where other managers, coaches, players start talking about you, and he's starting to get to that point.
I have a columnist question for you. Big picture, in honor of Big Bob, actually.
Yeah, great.
What are the things this year that have to go right for you guys to be playoff contending?
Well, a number of things, right? Not just one. I think that we have to pitch well, right? Because pitching always keeps you in the hunt. Consistent pitching, both out of the rotation and out of the bullpen. And I think we're capable, right? Because of the names that we have. Health, that's a big part of that too. Kyle missed time at the start of the year. Gomber missed time at the end of the year. Marquez was solid, made the All-Star team market. But I still think there's upside to Herman and Sensa. So that has to occur. Got to play good defense. We get a lot of grounders from our pitching staff, like we talked about. League leaders in grounders. So we got to catch the ball, which I think we will. And we've always done a pretty good job over my tenure here catching the ball. We've had good defenders. But the offense has been not where it needs to be the last few years. So the collection of 13, 14 position players, 12 position players, whatever I think they're going to expand the roster. We talked about that, didn't we? I think that's going to happen. But the bigger picture is, we need a number of guys to have good years offensively. Career years, no. But you will find that teams that win, a lot of guys have, some of their best years. So that's what we need. Do we need 7 guys to have career years? No. But we need a lot of guys to have good years, maybe a little bit above their expectation. And that's usually what happens when teams have good seasons, that guys perform a little bit above their level. Some guys perform way above their level and end up scoring more runs. We got to score more runs. So that doesn't come from one guy. It comes from the group.
So as a manager, offensively, do you think you'll be, do you feel like you're not allowed, are you going to allow yourself some patience to find those things? Are you chasing hot streaks with different players?
You always write that, right? I mean, when guys are hot, you know what they do? You play them. Doesn't make sense the other way, does?
But they are young, so, will you allow yourself some
Well, and that's the thing, that it depends on what you define as young. I think Rogers is, his service time is, I don't even know, 1+ maybe.
1,000 at bats.
Yeah. Does he have 1,000?
I don't think so.
No, it's 500 maybe. But, Hampson and Hilliard have been here a while, right? Hilly maybe doesn't have that many in the big picture at bats, but he's been around. Tapia, had a, you look at his year, you say, that was a pretty good year. But, at the second half, it sort of tapered off. Crone had a big year. Chuck was consistent. You look at Chuck's year, it's pretty good. Diaz, big second half. So, we got to do it the whole year. That's what's got to go right.
How much does
And there's snippet. And we've seen guys do it, right? In, a 10-day period, a month period, a 2-month period. Big leaguers do it for 6 months. The good ones.
does the additional wild card kind of factor in a little bit anyway?
Well, it helps every team. So we're part of every team. So it helps, right? But I think, what you want to try to do, you want to win the division. You want to win as many games as you can. Every team will say that. But we got to chase down some teams that were ahead of us last year. That's.
Buddy, would it be fair to say that when a team does break through and go take the next level, playoff level, sometimes you need a breakthrough player, oftentimes?
Yeah, oftentimes.
Like the 07 Rockies had Tulo come up and he
Right.
Was almost rookie of the year, that sort of
Right.
thing.
Yeah, that helps. That's a big year,
Right.
You need big years from a couple guys, or maybe a really big year. If your roster is, what ours looks like. Because there's teams that are, you sort of know that certain teams are going to have good years because their players have done it for a long time.